Hi, my name is Hazel Clayton Harrison, and I was the co-poet laureate for the Altadena Library from 2018 through 2020. And I'm so happy to be here this afternoon. I've lived in Altadena for over 20 years. I live right on Christmas Tree Lane, so it's just a lovely place to be. My first poem is entitled Altar of Stones, and it's about the conservation garden at the Altadena Library. At the library, behind a brick wall, beneath shadows of evergreens, a conservation garden slopes down a winding trail. Pine cones nestle in its nooks. Butterflies dance on its sweet breath. Baby blue eyes open under its shade. Like a bird song, the garden beckons weary travelers. Come sit by my side. Lay your books on my bed of pine. Listen to wind play my chimes. Rest your eyes on clothes of purple and gold. Heal your broken hearts with my fragrance of sage and mimulus. Leave your worries on my altar of stones. The next piece that I'll read is a personal essay, and it's entitled Sunset over Hahamanga. It's in a book called When the Virus Came Calling, that's edited by Thelma Reyna. On weekday evenings during the lockdown, Ollie and I took 5-minute drives from our house to the Arroyo Seco watershed. After being indoors all day, it was nice to get out of the house and get some exercise and fresh air. If the parking lot was closed, Ollie parked his SUV on a dead-end street overlooking the canyon. One of us stayed near the car while the other walked a narrow trail that snaked along the rim of the canyon. From a marker, I learned that Arroyo Seco is Spanish for dry creek. Locally, it refers to the stream that begins in the San Gabriel Mountains. The surrounding foothills are named Hahamanga Watershed Park, after a band of Tongva Indians who once settled there. The foothills are not only habitats for humans, but for bobcat, gray fox, coyote, mountain lion, and deer. Mountain lions are rarely seen, but I imagine them creeping down mountain trails after dark when most people were inside. I imagined how peaceful it must have been years ago when the Tongva built their dwellings in the canyon, gathered fruits and herbs, and hunted deer and rabbit. For us, it was a scenic retreat from the constant bombardment of coronavirus news that was getting more and more depressing each day. I strolled on the trail with my trusted walking stick, resting my eyes on golden poppies, yarrow, and primrose emerging from the arid soil, and gazing at wild chaparral cascading down slopes like a waterfall of green. The scent of rosemary cleared cobwebs from my head, and peaceful songs of warblers, sparrows, and turtle doves soothed my ears. The next piece that I would like to read is a short story. Since this is the 100th anniversary of Christmas Tree Lane, this is a short story about Fred Nash, who conceived the idea of lighting the trees on the lane. And it's from the book called The Story of Christmas Tree Lane. Fred Nash squinted his eyes and examined the advertising copy that his secretary had left on his desk. It was June 1920. The thermometer had soared to 90 degrees outside and perspiration soaked his shirt. But it wasn't too soon or too hot to start planning for the biggest shopping season of the year, Christmas. Fred was the owner of Nash Department Store in downtown Pasadena, and sales at his store had been low in the first half of the year. To increase the store's sales, he would have to attract many new customers during the Christmas season. "Mr. Nash, is there anything else I can do for you before I leave for the day?" Mrs. Winters. His secretary poked her head through the door. He glanced at her and then at his watch. "Oh my goodness, it's 5 o'clock. I promised Mrs. Nash I would be home early for dinner." He wished Mrs. Winters a good evening and slipped his arm into the sleeve of his jacket. On the way home, ideas about ways to increase sales kept popping into his head. He took his regular route up Lake Avenue and turned left on Woodbury Road. As he drove past the neat bungalows along the road, he decided to take a detour up Santa Rosa Avenue. He loved to drive up Santa Rosa because it was so scenic with its grove of stately deodars. As he drove along the street, an idea struck him with such force, he almost ran into a storm drain. Why not light the deodars on Christmas Eve? He imagined how beautiful the cedars would look, illuminated with red, yellow, and green lights.